Hiren sir, should we all of you? Today we have with us Mr. Hiren Kakkad, CEO and co-founder of State Modeler. Hiren sir, first of all, I'm welcoming you on behalf of Department of Applied Science, PIET, Parul University. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation to give a webinar on such a nice topic. Let me give the short profile of Hiren sir. Hiren sir is the CEO and co-founder of State Modeler. He is having more than 9 years of industrial experience and he is certified trainer by NSDC and Skill India. He is certified by Google Analytics Academy for Data Studio and Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. He has trained more than 9,000 participants and guided more than 100 improvement projects. He has assisted more than 45 research projects. He is the trainer in data analysis, R, Python, SPSS, Minitab, Power BI, Excel, Advanced Excel, Six Sigma, TPM, Kaizen, 5S, Kanban, and etc. Hiren sir, it is over to you. Please start.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and this platform to share my views on this inventory management. So before I just jump into the core content, I would like to share one story. Okay, so it's afternoon time and after lunch, it is a sleepy time usually. So let us start with the story. So when I was working with one of the management consulting company, and during that I used to go to the client place. So where we have to take round on the shop floor and find out the opportunities for the improvement and get it done from them. So that was the work of a consultant when we go to the industry. Now during one of my round at the shop floor, I found that there is some people who are sitting in the corner. So there were 8-10 people who were sitting in the corner of that shop floor. So at that time, I was having a question that these people are doing something different. So I asked to that coordinator that what these people are doing. So the coordinator has replied that these are our data analysis department. So I was more curious. So I asked them that can you please take me there so that I can understand what these people are doing and all. So he said, yes, I can, take you there. So he took me over there, and there I've seen like what those people were doing. So those people were doing data entry and, like recording all this, like whatever, that hard copy registers are there. So they're converting those hard copy into soft copy. So basically they are doing data entry in some system like Excel or some other their system. So the speed and the work distribution and that everything was amazing. Like they had decided, okay, morning report will be entered by this person, evening report will be reported by this person. Likewise they had work allocation and all these things. So then I asked that it is a data analysis department, right? So what analysis that you are performing? So they replied that, sir, that is not we are performing here, we are just entering data into the system, and everything rest will be done by the management, and they are doing all these things, or they are taking into account all these things into their meeting. So fine, that is okay. And then I move away from there, and after a few days I got chance to attend their management meeting. Now during that management meeting I've seen that all the people who were presented in the management meeting, they were hitting around the bush. So they were not talking about the data. They were talking about the assumptions, opinion, experiences, and all. So these people in the downside, they are collecting plenty of data. There is a dedicated department is over there, but they were not using those data into some decision making. So there I found a gap. And the gap was like data entry is something different and data analysis is something different. So there is some misconception about the people. So this kind of gaps I have observed, and this kind of gaps I have observed in many, like I have so many stories to tell you that this type of gaps are going on. So by having those gaps in my mind, I have started this company in 2019. So we have given the name State Modeler, and we have designed our services in such a way like it try to fulfill all these gaps. So the first domain of service is related to the data science. So it is all, the things that we are providing training and consultancy for machine learning, R Studio and everything. And there is operational excellence where this inventory part will come. So that operational excellence mein hum log lean, Six Sigma, 5S, Kaizen, TPM, TQM and everything that we are doing. So at that time, this inventory is one of the pain area or the key area that we take into account. So during my session, I'll share some of the real examples that I feel at the client place. So that is true. So something we are hearing for the inventory or some other thing, that is true actually in the real life scenario also. The third domain of service is research project, where we are providing our expertise to the research project. It might be government sponsored, it might be survey analysis, it might be like somebody is pursuing PhD and they need some assistance. So in that also we are helping them. And the fourth one is related to the universities and colleges, where we are conducting training program, workshop, and certification courses for the student as well as faculties. Now, if you look at our client list, then these are the areas I have written instead of putting the logos and name of the client, because it is applicable everywhere. So this inventory part is also applicable everywhere. So it is not only limited to some big companies. It is also a pain for the small companies as well. Similarly, the data, that is also everywhere in all those domains. So agroeconomic, dairy economic, home science, then plastic processing industry, chemical industry. So there are so many things, so many areas. These are actually diversified, but the common thing is they are dealing with the data. They are having some processes. So there is always a scope for the improvement, or let's say there is always a scope for the research. And these are all our clients. So here also, like, I just wanted to show you the diversity. Like Adani Electricity is electricity company, and UPL is a chemical company, and then SLTL, that is a machine building company. Sun Pharma is a pharmaceutical company. So all these things are applicable, like in all these different areas, right? And we have received 75% of NPS, that is Net Promoter Scores, from all of our client and the participants. These are some of the snaps of the training that we conducted in the past. So this training is at the UPL. So that was on R. So it was totally customized training as per their requirement. And these are some of the colleges where we have provided the training. So basic of SPSS that we provided at BVM College of Engineering, then base says, that is Department of Statistics, SP University, basics of Python in the same department, and then role of SPSS at DDU Nadiad. These are all the trainings that we conducted on R, because now R is becoming popular in the research area also, because it is open source and free software that can be used. So at different universities like Mumbai University, AERC, SP University, Anand Agriculture University, Gujarat University. So everywhere there is a faculty development program, and all this type of STTP and those programs are going on. So in that also we are providing trainings and all. Now, if I give you a brief introduction about our team, then already sir has given my introduction, so I'll not go into the detail of it. Then Mr. Mehul Gandhi, who is business associate with us, Mr. Saurabh Chaudhary, who is also business associate with us, Mr. Kapil Vanan, who is operating from UK, London, UK se abhi hamara kaam dekh rahe, so he is also business associate with us, and Mr. Lalit Alone, he is also business associate with us. Now, I can proudly say this: all 5 people in front of your screen, they are product of Department of Statistics, Sardar Patel University. See, we all did our master degree from there. Now, that was a brief introduction about what we are doing at our organization. So during this, journey, we have found out so many pain areas, or we have collected so many stories. That is actually very important. So one day, we visited our client. At that time, we asked about their problem, because generally when we go as a consultant, at that time we ask them about the problem. So client ने बोला कि सर हमारे यहाँ पे problem ऐसा है कि we have too much of inventory. Okay, fine. So that is one problem. Okay, what is another problem? That another problem is, sir, we are not able to provide delivery on time. So it was actually contradictory. Like we have already too much inventory, then we should be able to provide or able to deliver our product at as per the client requirement. So then it was something which is not matching. So we clarify with the client that, can you just elaborate on this, because अगर इन्वेंट्री है फिर भी आप अगर कस्टमर को जो चाहिए वो नहीं दे पा रहे, देन इट इज समथिंग विच इज मिसिंग आउट देयर। तो उन्होंने बताया लाइक वन थिंग कि हमारे पास ऐसी प्रोडक्ट है, हमारे पास जो इन्वेंट्री है उसमें ऐसी प्रोडक्ट है कि जो कस्टमर को नहीं चाहिए, यानी कि कस्टमर को चाहिए वो है नहीं, और कस्टमर को नहीं चाहिए वो सारा एज ए इन्वेंट्री हमने करके रखा है। सो बेसिकली दे वर हैविंग अ ह्यूज 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 स्लो मूविंग एंड डेड स्टॉक। सो एट दैट टाइम वन प्रोजेक्ट वाज टेकन, एंड जो भी हम आज देखने वाले हैं उसमें से काफी सारी चीजें हमने वहां पे इम्प्लीमेंट की है। And since the title is like ABCD of inventory management, so I'll not be talking about any of the technique in detail because we have a limited time, and we just wanted to see the basic fundamentals of it. That what is this inventory, what is this inventory management, what are the techniques which are available. So I also not show like mathematical or statistical functions to find out some inventory levels and all. So that is what the content that we are going to discuss today. The first is we'll see like what is inventory and all. Then in industry there is very very famous philosophy, that is lean philosophy. So in lean philosophy also this inventory is considered to be one of the deadly waste. It is one of the dangerous waste in the organization. So we'll see like how it is acting in lean philosophy, and then we'll see like what is the need of inventory management, why one should do inventory management. And there are several techniques of the inventory management like Q system, P system, and some other inventory management system. So we'll just touch upon them, we'll just have an overview of all these techniques, because this entire technique is in depth. So if we just talk on, let's say, Q system or P system, then it will take, let's say, half day or one day on only on this this particular Q system or P system. So we'll just touch upon and try to understand what does it mean and what are the pros and cons of it and when it is used. So first of all, let us try to understand what is inventory. So there might be some misconception about the inventory, that what to call inventory and what not to call inventory. So basically inventory refers to all the items that any business which is holding to sell in the future and earn some profit. So that is what the simple definition कि कोई भी business आगे जाके कुछ हम sell करेंगे and then we will earn. So for that selling purpose or to fulfill that future demand, whatever stock that we are having right now, that can be considered as an inventory. This is a very general definition. Now, like it might be a merchandise that we are selling. It might be the product that we might be, we are installing. For example, the spare parts. Okay, so that we are using for our machines and all. So that is also considered to be an inventory. Then goods that we are making or manufacturing, so that is also an inventory. So that goods, if it is lying in our premises, then it is considered to be an inventory. Now, what inventory is not, that is also very important. Like what is and what is not. So equipment and the supplies that needed to run your business, so that is not an inventory, that is an asset. For example, I have bought one machine that manufacture garments. So for example, this sewing machine is there. So that sewing machine is not my inventory, it is actually equipment, and that is my asset because that is essential to run my business. And then nowadays, like affiliated marketing concept is going on, drop shipping business is going on. So in that also they are dealing with the goods, but those goods they are not owning. So that is also not inventory for them. So for example, I am doing affiliated marketing with Amazon, and I'm also selling the goods, but I'm not owning any of the good. So in that case, that is not considered to be my inventory in that case. Now, if we just look back in the origin of the inventory, then what is it? And let us try to understand some more depth definition of this inventory. So this term inventory, that was originates from the French word that is inventaire. Okay, so how it is pronounced like inventaire. So that is the French word. From there, the inventory that originate. And another word is Latin word that is inventarium. Okay, so from these two words, inventory come into the picture. That is the origin of inventory, we can say. And if we just go a little in depth of the definition, then inventory includes raw material. It is not only limited to the finished good. It is not limited to only the product which is ready to dispatch or ready to sell. It is also includes the raw material which is lying in the store or the shop floor. Also in process, like something has been started but it is yet to complete. So that is also called an inventory. And then finished good, obviously the thing which is already processed in our company and they are ready to sell or ready to dispatch. So that is also considered to be an inventory. Then spares. Now those spares, somewhere like some companies have that misconception about this, that whether to consider this as an inventory or not. But yes, it is an inventory because we are storing it for the purpose that our whenever we need, at that time we should not have a, let's say, shortage of those spares. So ultimately future demand को tackle करने के लिए हम वो spares को रखते हैं. So that is why it is also considered to be an inventory. And any other stock item which is we have kept it stocked, like in order to meet unexpected future demand. So these are all the definitions and the origin of the inventory, we can say. Now if we categorize this inventory, then there are three categories mainly on a broad way. One is raw material, another one is WIP, and third one is finished good, that is yet to be sold. But let us try to consider or understand this three terminology with reference to one example, one company's example. So let's say there is an HK Garments, Hiren Kakkad Garments Limited is there. So for them, what inventory would be? So they are manufacturing garments basically. So let's say if we talk about the raw material, then this cloths, buttons, threads, needles, all these things are said to be a raw material inventory. Okay, so if I am having, let's say, so much of clothes, so much of buttons, so much of threads that is lying in my store, so that why I am keeping this, because in future if I need this, at that time I should not have to run to the supplier and get it done, and meanwhile my process is they're sitting idle. So for that I am keeping this inventory ready with my ready in stock in my company. So that is raw material for me. Now, for this company, what is the WIP? That is work in progress inventory. Okay, so let's say my cloth is now cutted. Okay, so it is already cut and it is in the different shape, like sleeves and the front side, end side, and then collar, and then sleeves and all. So in this way, it has been cut down. Now this is said to be my work in progress inventory. That means the process has been started, but it is yet to complete. And what would be the finished good here? Ready to dispatch good. Like for example, this shirt is there. So this shirt is going to be my finished good inventory. So there is a bunch of shirts are there. It is my inventory. Now the question is come, like wherever we are storing all these things, at that time we are investing some money into this. So if we keep those so much of material, so much of work in progress inventory or finished good product, at that time we are investing so much of cost or so much of money into this, then why one should keep this inventory? So there are several reasons to keep this inventory. So first reason is to make up with manufacturing or process time. So let's say if I start making shirt, then it will take 3 days to make the shirt. Okay, so that 3 days is my manufacturing or the process time. So to make up with that 3 days, I need some inventory so that my resources will not sit idle and they have something to do work. So to to match up all these things, we need an inventory. The second thing is many processes are there where material needs to be processed in batch or a lot. So at that time, they are not working on a single product. So for example, the tiles manufacturing process, the tiles that we are having in our home in the floor. So that is a batch processing. So it is not individually done. So it is done in a batch. So at that time, if you let's say batch processing time is, let's say, 10 days. So for 10 days, you need some inventory so that your resources would not sit ideal. The third one, that flow of material must be steady. Like in chemical industry or any process industry, if you go, then the process is continuously going. So there is no like one product is made and then that machine is stopped, and then again some other product will come, and then again they will start the machine. So it is not like that. One flow is going on, going on, going on, and until that decided quantity is not manufactured, that is going on and going on. I would like to share one example for this tiles manufacturing company. There also this kind of flow is important, because one of their equipment is there, that is kiln. So when they start this kiln, at that time so much of gas is required to ignite that kiln, and that is the huge cost. Overall, if you look at the cost of it, then it is a huge cost. So once they start this kiln, after 6 months they stop it continuously. For the 6 month, this kiln will go on working. It is not stopping, or they're not shutting it down. Why? Because if they shut it down, then again they will start. It will require a huge cost, because it requires huge gas, and that is the major cost part of it. So जितना लंबा वो एक बार स्टार्ट करने के बाद जितना लंबा वो चलाएंगे, उतना ही लंबे ड्यूरेशन के लिए उनकी जो ओवरऑल कॉस्ट है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी डाउन. So like there they need some inventory to reduce that cost, and to provide the flow of material that is required in the kiln. And the fourth one is, like, all processes have different cycle time. So we have taken an example of this garment industry. So in that, let's say that sleeve जो हम कट करते हैं उसका टाइम अलग है, एंड देन लेट्स से फ्रंट साइड एंड बैक साइड जो कट करते हैं उसका टाइमिंग अलग अलग है. एंड दिस प्रोसेसेस आर परफॉर्मिंग इट बाय डिफरेंट पीपल. So at that time, to match up all those timings, we need some inventory, which is WIP, we used to call it, right? So that is required. So let's say stitching time will be different for all these aspects, and then ironing time is also different. So to match up all those different times, we need some inventory between those processes. So that is what basics of inventory, like what is inventory and why we need to keep this inventory. Now let us try to understand this inventory in a like lean philosophy. So let us try to understand first of all what is lean and how this inventory is playing a role over there. So basically lean emphasizes on removal and reduction of waste from the process. So when we talk about the process, at that time it might be a manufacturing process, it might be a service process. So for example, admission in the university or the college, that is also considered to be a process. Okay. For example, in our consulting, we are getting the consulting assignment, so that is also process of getting consulting assignment. So it is process is nothing but like you are performing something in like steps. So there is a first step, and then there is a second step, and then there is a third step. Likewise, there are steps, and all these steps combinedly called as a process. So what lean does is, whatever process that we are following, from there it tries to reduce the waste. Okay, so the first aim is to remove all of the waste. Let's say if it is not possible to remove, we focus on reduction of that waste. Now this lean philosophy believes in believing in the perspective of like customers. So what customer feel as a value, or let's say for our product or the service. So whatever process we are doing, or whatever activity that we are doing in our process, so whether customer will feel it as a value. If yes, then it is a value added activity, otherwise it is a non value added activity. So that is the philosophy of lean, that customer को जो value लगता है वही काम हमें ज्यादा करना है, otherwise we should not do that, or we should do it minimum way. Okay. Now what it is how it is working. So there are again 5 steps for this lean philosophy. The first one is define value. Okay, so what customer feel as a value. So here that customer comes into the picture. So customer के लिए value क्या है. Okay, so whether customer is willing to pay, that is the simple question we can ask. For example, I am mixing the material. So I can ask that कि मैं ये mix कर रहा हूँ material, उसके लिए customer पैसा देगा. If I'm doing, let's say, rejection, and then I'm performing some rework, so customer will pay for that rework, yes or no? If yes, then it is a value, otherwise it is not a value. Okay, so once we have defined what is value to the customer, we have to go to the next step, that is map value stream. So there is one tool, lean tool, which is available, that is called VSM, that is value stream mapping. That is the best tool to map value stream. So our process is, starting from like P1, P2, P3, P4. Likewise, we have P10 processes. Okay. Now, this we have to map along with the value that, okay, out of this P1, what is VA, that is value added, what is NVA, that is non-value added. Here also, what is VA, what is NVA. So likewise, we are finding for all these 10 processes, and we are just trying to analyze this data that from this entire 10 steps, what is VA and what is NVA. And we try to improve the ratio of this VA, like VA should be more compared to this NVA. But the research says that 80% of the activity in the industry, that is NVA. Only 20% is VA. So we have a huge scope to work upon this NVA. Now that is non-value adding activity. That means customer don't find value in those activities. Now it doesn't mean that we can just simply eliminate them, because some of the things are very essential that we have to do, but customer is not willing to pay for that. So for that, we need to elimination is not the way for those activities, so we can focus on reduction of this. Okay. Now when we when we say it is a non-value adding activity, then it is said to be a waste. Okay. Now the question will come, what do we mean by this waste? Because when it comes to the waste, we generally understand that waste is a physical waste. Like मैं अगर गारमेंट इंडस्ट्री की बात करूं तो गारमेंट पे मैंने कपड़ा कट किया है, उसके बाद जो साइड वाला जो कपड़ा निकला है या एनीथिंग विच इज नॉट good, that is usable, that is considered to be a waste. But no, in the lean philosophy, it is something different. And for that, there is one story. Okay, so I'm again going to tell you a story, because so many things are there that I would like to say you in the form of story, so that it can be long lasting. Now, for this lean implementation, there is one company who is very pioneer in the sense they they bring revolution to this lean philosophy, and that is the Toyota. If somebody has heard the name, like in the lean philosophy, this Toyota, then this Toyota, what they were doing, anyone is having any idea like what these people were doing previously in around like 1925-30? So they were actually manufacturing looms, or you can say the weaving machinery. Okay, so they were basically manufacturing weaving machinery around like 1925-30 1925 1930, in that duration. Now at that time, who were pioneer in the you can say the top 3 in the car manufacturing? So it was GM, Ford, and Chrysler. So these are the 3 companies who were like top 3 companies in car manufacturing segment. So after a few years, this Toyota has decided to move from this loom making to car making. So at that time, it was a new field for them, around 1940 or so. I don't remember the exact years, but after a few years, they have decided to go for the car manufacturing unit. So it is very new for them. So what they had decided, they decided that this Ford, GM, and all, these are the people who are already established. So if we can request them and they can give us permission to visit their factory, then we can have so much of learning. And if we have learned those things, then it will be very easy for us to make a car manufacturing plant. So what they did is they requested this Ford. Okay, so they requested this Ford, Henry Ford's company, that we want to go into the car manufacturing segment and we want to visit your company. So could you please allow us? Now see, it is something like that. You are straight away going to your company and you are saying that I want to become your competitor. Can you show me how to make cars? It is something like that. But this Ford people, they had given them permission. Okay, so yes, you can visit them. So it was also a surprising thing, but yes, they had given the permission. And then they had given a 20 conditions. फोर्ड ने उन लोगों को 20 कंडीशंस दिए. which were those conditions? कैसी थी कि फॉर एग्जांपल आप ये एरिया को विजिट नहीं कर सकते, आप ये इंफॉर्मेशन के बारे में नहीं पूछ सकते, हम आपको ये मशीन नहीं दिखा सकते, हम ये आपको ये डिजाइन नहीं दिखा सकते. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी कंडीशंस वेर देयर कि ये सारी चीजें हम आपको नहीं कर पाएंगे. तो if you agreed upon this 20 conditions, then you may visit our company. So this Toyota people, they visited that company, Ford. So a team of like people, it might be 10 people, they went to this Ford and they were asked to observe the process and then do a reporting. So from this Toyota, there was one guru, that is quality guru actually, Taichi Ono. Okay, so that is the quality guru who was also part of the team. So when they visited and they came back again to the Toyota, at that time Toyota management asked them to present a report. So everybody has presented the report that we should do like this, we should have this much of machine, we should have this much of area, we should have this much of technology, we have this type of employees. So likewise, what we should have, that all has presented in their report. But this Taichi Ono, he has reported something different, that what we should not do. So what he has represented, what we should not do if we want to become world class in the car manufacturing segment. So when that management asked them that what should we not, what should be that we are not supposed to do. So at that time Taichi Ono has added, like he has mentioned that 7 things that we should not do. Now, what are those 7 things that I'm going to show it to you? So that is nothing but 7 plus 1 type of waste. Actually 8 type of waste, but originally it was 7 type of waste. So I'll also tell you like how this has came afterward. So this 7 waste that he has defined, that this transportation, we should not do that. Okay, so what do we mean by the transportation? That means moving of items from here and there in the shop floor. It should be very minimum. It should not be heavy. So that we should not do. Then inventory. That is what our focus area is. So the second thing is inventory that we should not keep. हमारे यहाँ पे customer को जितना चाहिए उतना ही होना चाहिए, और it should be at minimum level. Inventory should be there. Then and only then we'll be able to be successful in the car manufacturing segment. Then motion. Now motion and transportation are somewhat, it is related. When it comes to the transportation, we are talking majorly about the material movement, and here when it comes to the motion, we are mostly focused on the manpower movement. Okay, so unnecessary movement of the manpower should not be there. Like मुझे अगर स्पेनर चाहिए तो उसके लिए मैं इधर गया उधर गया, it should not be like that. It should be very handy and it should be very minimum. Then waiting. So waiting is also should not be there. Now there is waiting between 2 processes is not supposed to be there. A waiting of, let's say, raw material, waiting for machine, waiting for instrument, waiting for equipment, waiting for manpower, waiting for any damn thing. We should not we should have no waiting, or let's say minimum waiting. Then over processing. Over processing means doing more than what is necessary. So customer को जितना चाहिए उससे भी ज्यादा अगर काम करके हम देंगे, then it is considered to be an over processing, क्योंकि उसमें आपका टाइम जाता है, आपका ओवरहेड कॉस्ट जाता है, और आपका मनी भी जाता है. So we should limited ourselves with what customer is needing. अगर let's say हम जो क्लासरूम में मैं ये एग्जांपल देता हूँ कि क्लासरूम में अगर हम अटेंडेंस शीट जो है वो हम करवाते हैं, ठीक है, उसमें वो लोग साइन करते हैं. Now if I make it black and white or colorful, if I let's say it is a colorful attendance sheet, then does it add any value to the customer? No, it is not going to add any value to the customer. So why should we waste this thing in a like a colorful print? क्यों use करना? We should use this that normal one, black and white one. Let's say for example I'm making a some parts, that is metal parts, और उसके ऊपर मुझे पेंट लगाना है. Now customer has asked कि उसमें 20 माइक्रोन का पेंट होना चाहिए, फिर भी मैं वहां पे 40 माइक्रोन का पेंट लगाता हूँ. What does it mean? I am using some excess material which is not actually asked by the customer, that is not going to add any value to the customer. So that is said to be an over processing. What do we mean by the overproduction? So basically, doing work before it is needed. So that is considered to be an overproduction. And then defect. Now this defects, that is quite obvious, like which is not matching the customer requirement, that is called defect. So some errors are there, some problems are there in the product or service which is not acceptable, that is called defect. So ये जो ताइची उन्होंने क्या किया था कि ये 7 चीजें जो थी वो बताई थी, और ये लास्ट वाली चीज जो है that is added by I forgot the name. That person was from US. He has done some research in this Toyota, and then he has added one more vest, that is vest of skill. यानी कि अगर लेट्स से आदमी की स्किल या हमारे जो एम्प्लॉइज है उनकी स्किल का हम अंडर यूटिलाइजेशन कर रहे हैं, देन ऑल्सो इट इज सेड टू बी अ वेस्ट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if like somebody is capable of acting as an this assistant manager, फिर भी हम उससे सुपरवाइजर लेवल का काम ले रहे हैं. If somebody is let's say liable for becoming a manager, फिर भी उसको हम असिस्टेंट लेवल का या उससे भी बिलो लेवल का काम करवा रहे हैं. So basically we are under utilizing their skill. So there is also one kind of waste. So this is how this 7+1 8 type of waste come into the picture. So ताइची उन्होंने ये बताया कि ये सारी चीजें हमें नहीं करनी चाहिए. So they focus on that and they became, let's say, world class. So in around 1980, again, excuse me for this years, मुझे exactly years अभी याद नहीं है. So around 1980s or so, at that time, this top 3 were again this GM, Ford, and Chrysler. But at the 4th position, it was Toyota. Now, if you just see the profit margin of it or the profitability of it, these things, then Toyota's profitability यहाँ पे ये number of cars के sale में या turnover के reference में है, बराबर है, ये 4th position पे है. But if you look at the profitability area, then Toyota was having this GM plus Ford plus Chrysler. इन तीनों की जो profitability है उससे कई गुना ज्यादा Toyota की profitability थी. भले ही वो सेल्स के एस्पेक्ट में या नंबर ऑफ कार्स के एस्पेक्ट में चौथे नंबर पे था, बट प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी में इट वाज ऑन द टॉप पोजीशन. ओके, सो आफ्टर दैट दिस फोर्ड, क्योंकि फोर्ड को देख के ये आगे बढ़े थे, सो नाउ फोर्ड हैज requested this Toyota that you had visited our company in the past and now you are performing well, so we also would like to visit your company. Now what Toyota would have done, so फोर्ड ने उस टाइम पे 20 कंडीशंस रखी थी कि ये नहीं दिखा सकते, वो नहीं दिखा सकते, एंड ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ सॉर्ट्स. टोयोटा हैज केप्ट not a single condition. So without condition, they welcome this Ford that you can visit any of the area, you can visit any of the machine, you can visit any of the company. Then somebody from the Ford who has questioned them that don't you feel that if you show us everything, then we may copy this and we may again move ahead from you. So at that time this Toyota owner has given the best answer that you can copy everything. आज नहीं तो कल आपके पास आने ही वाला है. So टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत टाइम तक हम उसको हाइड नहीं कर सकते. Ultimately it is going to reveal. You can copy everything, but you cannot copy culture of Toyota, because it's all about the culture. And when we say is a lean philosophy, so it is a philosophy or the culture that we are believing into it. It is not just a tool. So that is what this Toyota story is about, this lean. Now here also, like why I have told you this story. Now you might be feeling that we are just going sidetrack. No, it is not sidetrack. Actually, we are focusing here on the inventory. Okay, so our main focus would be on this inventory. Now among all this waste, now it is also some research is also saying the same thing, and also I had experience during my career that inventory is one of the dangerous waste. कोई अगर ऐसा पूछे कि ये 8 वेस्ट है, उसमें से सबसे ज्यादा डेंजर वेस्ट कौन सा है, so I would say it is an inventory. Why? So let me show you the picture. Now you can consider this, water. This entire water is nothing but your, inventory, and there are so many icebergs which are, you can say it is, below the water level. That is, then the setup times are there, machine breakdowns are there, poor quality is there, inefficient layout are there, unreliable suppliers are there, bad designs are there. So all these problems are there, but due to high level of inventory level is too high compared to this problem. So you are not feeling any of the trouble in your organization. सो इन अ शॉर्ट रन यू माइट बी फीलिंग कि ये तो अच्छा है ना, कि हमने अगर ज्यादा इन्वेंटरी रखी है तो वी शुड नॉट हैव ऑल दिस टाइप ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स, बट दैट इज नॉट एक्चुअली, दैट इज एडिंग वेस्ट टू योर बैलेंस शीट. उसमें कॉस्ट बहुत सारा लग जा रहा है, सो आपकी बैलेंस शीट में ये लॉस की तरफ आपको ले जा रहा है. सो इन अ शॉर्ट टर्म हमें शायद लग सकता है कि ये सारी परेशानियां तो नहीं है ना, बट इट इज नॉट ट्रू. सो फर्स्ट व्हाट वी सजेस्ट, जब भी हम जाते हैं तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इफ यू वांट टू रिवील ऑल दिस प्रॉब्लम, the first logical step you need to do is you need to reduce down your inventory. So if you reduce your inventory, that is the water level is reduced, now all these problems comes on the surface. Okay, now this is only the waste, कि जो कैसा काम करता है कि अगर वेस्ट को हमने कम किया तो प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ जाएंगे, बट नॉट टू वरी अबाउट दोस प्रॉब्लम. क्यों? क्योंकि ये जरूरी है. जब तक ये रिवील नहीं होगा तब तक हम उसको सॉल्व नहीं कर पाएंगे. सॉल्व नहीं करेंगे तो हमारी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी नहीं बढ़ेगी. सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू रिवील ऑल दिस प्रॉब्लम. और ये प्रॉब्लम्स को रिवील करने के लिए इन्वेंटरी का लेवल है उसको कम करना पड़ेगा. और ये एक फैक्ट है. आप भी कभी भी इफ यू आर गेटिंग अ चांस टू वर्क ऑन इन्वेंटरी इन एनी इंडस्ट्री, स्टार्टिंग में ही बता दीजिए कि इन्वेंटरी को ऑप्टिमाइज करना है तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लाइक इनिशियल लेवल पे प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ेंगे, कम नहीं होंगे. इफ यू आर रेडी टू डू दैट, then we can go ahead. Otherwise क्या होगा कि they will feel कि ये तो मतलब ये साहब ने तो ये काम आके स्टार्ट किया तो हमारे प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ गए सॉल्व होने की जगह पे. बट इट इज नॉट द केस. एक्चुअली इट इज द पैटर्न नेचुरली. नाउ ये जो लीन फिलोसॉफी के एस्पेक्ट से हमने इन्वेंटरी को समझा कि इन्वेंटरी क्या है और उसमें वेस्ट क्यों है. क्योंकि लाइक लीन फिलोसॉफी बोलता है कि हमारा जो फ्लो है that should be smooth. Now what do we mean by the flow? So there is a cash flow which is coming from, यहाँ पे कस्टमर है और यहाँ पे हम है लाइक कंपनी. सो कैश फ्लो इज कमिंग फ्रॉम कस्टमर टू कंपनी. कब आएगा वो? when we provide the material, or let's say for service industry it might be an information. Okay, now every organization is running to earn the profit. now cash flow है वो स्मूथ चलना चाहिए. अभी इसको स्मूथ चलाना है ना, we must have this material and information flow very smooth. ये स्मूथ नहीं होंगे तो ये कभी भी स्मूथ नहीं हो सकता है. that is why we need to optimize our inventory, or we have to make our inventory management very effective so that our cash flow can be smooth on the this material and information flow also can be smooth. Now we have a question that why we need this inventory management. तो एक overall idea मैंने आपको यहाँ पे दिया कि भाई to maintain the flow. Now there are also several other reasons that lead us to go for the inventory management. So first of all we'll try to understand what is inventory management. So inventory management is an approach for keeping track of flow. जो flow मैंने अभी बताया वो flow of inventory. Now when it comes to the inventory, remember this example: raw material, WIP and finished good. We are not only talking about this, we are talking about all these three. अगर ये सबका flow हमने सही से बना के रखा तो हमारा inventory management proper है, and then ultimately it will lead us to the cash flow will be smooth. Another things that will motivate us to go for the inventory managements are like ensure a continuous supply of raw material to facilitate uninterrupted production. ये already हमने need of inventory उस टाइम पे हमने देखा था कि कुछ एक प्रोसेसेस ऐसे होती है कि जिसमें कंटिन्यूअस मटेरियल चाहिए, या फिर वो डिसरप्शन के बिना हमारा प्रोडक्शन का फ्लो चले, उसके लिए हमें रॉ मटेरियल की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, उसका इन्वेंटरी लेवल प्रॉपर होना चाहिए. नाउ हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इन्वेंटरी मैनेजमेंट. सो इन्वेंटरी मैनेजमेंट मींस राइट क्वांटिटी में मटेरियल राइट टाइम पे अवेलेबल होना चाहिए. It will also ensure a smooth sales operation and efficient customer service. Now, the sales operation, when it comes to the smooth sales operation, it is something like that. If you go to buy like any item or let's say vegetable, for example, and आप बोलते हो कि मुझे टमाटर चाहिए, और वो बंदा बोलेगा कि okay, madam, I'll get it after 2 days for you. What you will do? You'll not wait for 2 days. You'll go at some other shop and then you'll buy the tomato. Now that is what happening in all the now client is not waiting. अगर आपके पास नहीं है तो there are so many options which are available. So वो client को satisfied करने के लिए, customer को service करने के लिए, service देने के लिए we must have some inventory ready in our hand ताकि हम client को at a time जब भी उसको चाहिए तब हम दे सके. Then अगर हम properly inventory management करते हैं then it helps us to reduce the material handling cost. क्योंकि अगर let's say inventory management is not proper at that time we'll have a high material handling cost क्योंकि हमारा ordering है वो fix नहीं होगा, हमारा let's say storing of the material will not be standardized. So in that case you have to do a lot of material handling and it requires a huge cost. So many of the time inventory attributes to like balance sheet में आप देखेंगे तो it is attributing to 5 to 10% of this cost, not inventory but inventory handling cost, transportation cost, and this all type of cost which is related to the inventory that is attributing from let's say 5% to 10% in the balance sheet. That is too high as far as this material handling and all these things are concerned. Actually it is not adding any value to the process, or let's say customer is not going to pay for this. And it also helps us to reduce ordering and transportation cost. क्योंकि हम जब इन्वेंटरी मैनेजमेंट के लिए जाते हैं तो उस टाइम पे वी आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट द ऑप्टिमम पॉइंट. सो द वर्ड कम्स इनटू द पिक्चर इज ऑप्टिमम पॉइंट वेयर आवर ऑल दिस कोस्ट आर लीस्ट, और सबसे कम है तभी हम वो पॉइंट पे ऑर्डरिंग वगैरह करते हैं. तो ओवरऑल ये जो कोस्ट है उसको रिड्यूस करने में हमारी हेल्प करता है. And it also helps us to reduce incidence of stock out situation. जो मैंने स्टार्टिंग में एक दूसरी स्टोरी बताई थी कि उन लोगों के पास क्या था कि बहुत सारी इन्वेंटरी थी बट कस्टमर को चाहिए वो था ही नहीं. दैट मीन्स दैट थिंग्स वेर स्टॉक आउट. तो अगर हम प्रॉपरली इन्वेंटरी मैनेजमेंट करते हैं तो स्टॉक आउट वाली सिचुएशन विल नॉट बी देयर. स्टॉक आउट नहीं होगा तो कस्टमर को खाली हाथ हमारे से वापस जाना नहीं पड़ेगा. It also helps us to reduce dead stock or non-moving inventory. Many of the time, companies are having dead stock. That means अभी उसकी कोई डिमांड नहीं है या फिर वो आउट ऑफ फैशन हो चुका है या आउट ऑफ मार्केट हो चुका है, बट वी हैव दो स्टॉक्स. सो अगर हम प्रॉपरली इन्वेंटरी मैनेजमेंट टेक्निक को यूज करते हैं देन this entire thing will come on the surface that what is the carrying cost that we are sparing for this dead stock, and then ultimately management can take a decision. कभी कभी हमने ये जब पिछली कंपनी में मैं जब काम कर रहा था तो वी यूज्ड टू गो फॉर द गेम्बा राउंड. गेम्बा राउंड यानी शॉप फ्लोर में मैनेजमेंट को लेके जाना. सो मैनेजमेंट को लेके हम शॉप फ्लोर में एक राउंड लगाते थे हर 15 दिन में, और उस टाइम पे हम उनको काफी सारे ऐसे ग्रे एरियाज बताते थे कि दिस आर ऑल द ग्रे एरियाज वेयर मैनेजमेंट नीड्स टू टेक डिसीजन. और मैनेजमेंट सरप्राइजिंगली उनको पता ही नहीं होता था कि ऐसा मटेरियल भी यहाँ पे पड़ा है या फिर ऐसे लाइक स्टॉक हमने करके रखे हैं ऐसे ऐसी चीजें. So immediately they used to give a decision कि नहीं ये इसको निकालो या इसको रखो या उसका let's say यहाँ पे resell कर दो. So in that way these all decisions come very fast. So basically this proper inventory management is going to help us to reduce this non-moving as well as dead stock items from our company. Now when it comes to this need of inventory management, so let us just have a brief on its financial aspect because it requires too many costs. There is too many costs associated with this inventory. So what are those costs? So let's say if we look at the ordering cost, then there are several attributes are there like preparing purchase order, processing payment, receiving and inspecting the material, and so on. Now this might be different companies have some different attributes in the ordering cost. Okay, then carrying cost. Okay, so inventory carrying cost, ICC. So it might be a capital cost in the sense like we are already sparing some money to have those inventory which is yet to be converted into again like cash flow. तो हम अपना जो पैसा है वहां पे ब्लॉक कर रहे हैं, कैपिटल है उसको ब्लॉक कर रहे हैं. So that is one capital cost. Another one is deterioration. बहुत सारी inventory आपने रख ली है, तो after some time, or you might have, let's say, that inventory gets deteriorated. So that is also one cost that you are holding, or you are paying for that. Pilferage, that means something which might be small thing might be stolen from your the store. So there is also, it happens. और वो इतनी क्वांटिटी नहीं होती, बट स्मॉल होती है, बट आप अगर सालाना उसकी कंपैरिजन करें या एनुअली इफ यू काउंट, देन इट इज अ ह्यूज अमाउंट, राइट? देन also you need insurance for some type of, let's say, inventory. तो वो इंश्योरेंस का कॉस्टिंग है, दैट इज ऑल्सो इन्वेंटरी कैरिंग कॉस्ट. क्यों वो इंश्योरेंस क्यों लेना पड़ रहा है? बिकॉज यू आर कैरिंग द इन्वेंटरी. So for that you need to have an insurance. Then storage, you are storing this material in your premises, so it requires some, it might be your own, or it might be, let's say, on rented. So at that time also, that cost will be added to your this inventory carrying cost. Then interest, ये कैपिटल कॉस्ट है, वो हमेशा से जरूरी तो नहीं है कि हमने लाइक प्रॉफिट में से निकाली है, या दैट इज आवर ओन. Might be sometime it is taken from the loan, so we are paying the interest. Let's say if it is not taken on a loan, हमारा खुद का है, फिर भी अगर हमने उसको कहीं पे और इन्वेस्ट किया होता, then we might have earned some interest that we are not going to earn. So that is also loss of interest in that case. अगर हम ये ऑप्टिमम लेवल का करते हैं, then all this cost will be at their minimum level. We are not saying that all this thing should be zero, or inventory should be zero. We are not saying that, but it should be at the minimum level, so that overall cost would be near to zero. There is third cost, that is out of stock. अगर हमने सही से स्टॉक नहीं रखा है ऑप्टिमम लेवल का, and let's say it is out of stock, then we have to go for the back ordering, यानी जो ऑर्डर्स ले लिए उसको फिर से वापस पैसा करना पड़ेगा. So there is back ordering. Loss of sales, नए ऑर्डर्स आते हैं तो उसको हमें रिग्रेट करना पड़ेगा कि वी डोंट हैव दिस मटेरियल. So that is also due to poor inventory management. So these are all the costs which are associated with this. Out of this, let's say, let me show you one example. वो आपके रेफरेंस के लिए है, and I'll share this PPT with you. So at the end of this presentation, I'll share you the link to download this one. So ऑर्डरिंग कॉस्ट एंड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट को कैसे ओवरऑल गिना जाता है कंपनी लेवल पे, तो उसके एक एग्जांपल मुझे मिला था एक बुक से. सो दैट आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर विथ यू. सो लेट्स से इन्वेंटरी कैरिंग कॉस्ट को कैसे गिना जाता है. सो ओपनिंग स्टॉक, क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, एंड देन एवरेज इन्वेंटरी इज फाउंड, एंड देन कॉस्ट ऑफ कैरिंग में सैलरी ऑफ द वेजेस फॉर दैट स्टोर डिपार्टमेंट ओनली. पूरे कंपनी का नहीं आएगा, बट फॉर दैट स्टोर डिपार्टमेंट व्हाट इज द सैलरी, with the rent of the store building, computer services, administration overhead, insurance, other expenses, and many more you can add. That depends on organization to organization. Then maintenance of transportation vehicle used in the store. वहाँ पे forklift रखा है या कोई ट्रॉली रखी है, उसका maintenance का cost आता है. So everything you just add upon this, and then you can find out this percentage. And if you just add this interest charges, then how much it would become, right? So this is annual, this calculation shown annual basis पे कि उसका inventory carrying cost in terms of percentage is 21.25. if you hold all this inventory, average inventory is this much. Now it is in lakhs. Okay, so this is how we can calculate this inventory carrying cost. Let's say if we want to calculate the ordering cost, then salary or the wages of this purchasing department, because when it comes to the order, purchase department comes into the picture. Then receiving and shipping of the order, receiving and inspection, follow-up cost, provisioning, auditing. There are so many, cost which is associated with the order that you can just total up, and then you can decide the number of orders that you are giving per year. And then you divide this total cost with total number of order, and you will have this cost, like per order cost कितना जा रहा है. Okay, and you can also find out the per item, like इसमें हमें quantity भी पता है कि इतने orders हमने किए, उसमें से कितनी quantity हमने total receive की, तो बोला इतनी. So what is per item, हमारा ordering cost कितना है? So that is something like this. So that is also we can calculate. And these are all the, like, you can consider it as a KPI. और इसको हम monitor भी कर सकते हैं कि month on month क्या pattern चल रहा है. So is it reducing, or let's say it is increasing? If it is increasing, then we need to focus on that, and we need to work upon that. So these are how it is calculated. Now let us come to the last part of our session, that is techniques of inventory management. Now there are so many techniques which are available. I was just referring to some of the books and the articles. There is a huge huge or nomenclatures are given and everything is there, but ultimately सबका क्रक्स यही था कि हमारा स्टॉक आउट सिचुएशन नहीं होना चाहिए, कस्टमर को जब चाहिए तब वो चीजें मिलनी चाहिए. नाउ व्हेन वी से इट इज अ कस्टमर, राइट, इट मे बी इंटरनल, इट मे बी एक्सटर्नल, राइट. सो दैट इज द बेसिक पर्पस ऑफ inventory control or inventory management. So the first I have seen, that is the queue system. Okay, so the first method I have seen, that is a queue system for this inventory management, that is fixed order quantity system. So here the quantity is fixed. So how it is done? So there is some model. Okay, so ये model में कैसे होता है कि fixed quantity material is ordered whenever stock reaches to the reorder point. तो यहाँ पे let's say this is the maximum level of stock. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं this is maximum level stock, this is reorder level, and this is minimum level. And below this minimum level, ये जो आपको दिख रहा है, that is nothing but your safety stock. Okay. इसमें अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में जाते हैं तो ये क्यू सिस्टम विथ सेफ्टी स्टॉक, क्यू सिस्टम विदाउट सेफ्टी स्टॉक, ये दो अलग अलग मॉडल्स हैं. सो बेसिकली लेट्स से हमारा इन्वेंट्री लेवल दैट इज एट द मैक्सिमम लेवल and we have started consuming it. Okay, so यहाँ पे आपका टाइम है. so as you go in this direction the time is increasing. so जैसे जैसे टाइम जाता है वैसे वैसे हम कंज्यूम करते जाते हैं. now we are reaching at this level that is called F. what is that? That is reorder level. so यहाँ पे हम हमारा जो ऑर्डर है उसको शूट करते हैं कि we are placing an order. after that, after placing the order, we are this demand is constant, so ये कंज्यूम होता रहता है, होता रहता है, होता रहता है. And then if it reaches to this level, that is minimum level, at that time your this whatever you ordered, okay, that again will received in your premises, and then again stock will be at this level क्योंकि इस टाइम पे आपका मटेरियल रिसीव हुआ है. again you start consuming it, and then you reach at this level, again reorder, and then it will come. so here this is basically the lead time. ये पूरा लीड टाइम है क्योंकि हमने यहाँ पे ऑर्डर किया और यहाँ पे ये रिसीव हुआ, तो उसके बीच का जो टाइम है दैट इज कॉल्ड लीड टाइम. और ये जो पर्टिकुलर लाइक फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट टू दिस पॉइंट, ये जो आपका लाइन है दैट डिनोट्स दैट हाउ मच यू आर कंज्यूमिंग ड्यूरिंग द लीड टाइम. लेट्स से ये सेफ्टी स्टॉक क्यों रखा जाता है? क्योंकि लीड टाइम अगर कस्टमर ने बोला है कि वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग इट यू विद इन 10 days, बट let's say there is some fluctuation, you have observed your fluctuation in the lead time of that supplier. तो सप्लायर का वो कभी 8 दिन भी हो सकता है, कभी 12 दिन भी हो सकता है. सो एडिशनली व्हाट यू आर कीपिंग एज अ सेफ्टी स्टॉक, अगर लीड टाइम में थोड़ा प्लस माइनस हुआ तो ये आपका सेफ्टी स्टॉक है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी यूजफुल ओवर देयर. नाउ हियर आल्सो लाइक वन थिंग, ये अभी मॉडल समझने के लिए ये स्ट्रेट लाइन हम दिखा सकते हैं, बट दैट इज नॉट एक्चुअली स्ट्रेट. ये डिमांड है वो कभी ज्यादा हो सकती है, कभी कम हो सकती है. सो अकॉर्डिंगली दिस लाइंस वुड बी देयर. Okay, now what this reorder level is? So this reorder level is nothing but your EOQ model, that is economic order quantity. अभी उसके बारे में हम थोड़ा सा बात करेंगे, बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाएंगे, but that is the based on the generally reorder level is defined based on this economic order quantity. So that is the queue system. Queue system, why it is queue system? Because quantity system. So queue system is given, and here fixed order, that means fixed quantity is ordered. Now there is another thing कि ये जो हमारा पीरियड है उसको हम फिक्स करते हैं, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड पी सिस्टम. सो लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट पी सिस्टम. ये मॉडल में क्या है कि हमारी जो आइटम्स है उसका हम काउंटिंग करते हैं at decided frequency. It might be week, it might be month, it might be quarter, depending upon the process and the consumption. ये period fix होता है, so that is called review period. Okay, so this R1, R2, R3, these are nothing but the review period, and these are the supply points, यानी कब मटेरियल रिसीव हुआ. सो लेट्स से हमने यहाँ पे हमारा एक लेवल का इन्वेंट्री था, वहां से हमने कंज्यूम करना स्टार्ट किया, एंड देन वी रीच एट दिस लेवल वेयर हमारा रिव्यू ड्यू हो रहा था. तो हमने यहाँ पे रिव्यू किया कितना कंज्यूम हुआ है, तो उसके हिसाब से यहाँ पे ऑर्डरिंग होती थी. और जैसे ही यहाँ पे ऑर्डर हुआ उसके हिसाब से लाइक यहाँ पे ऑर्डर दिया हमने, एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड कंज्यूमिंग दिस अगेन. Okay, and at this point of time you have received the material, that is S2, that is supply point, and then again your inventory become at this level, again you have started using it. तो आपका लेट्स से ये रिव्यू पीरियड दूसरा, यानी यहाँ पे ये एवरी मंथ है, लेट्स से जनवरी, ये फरवरी, ये मार्च, इस तरीके से होगा. सो फरवरी में अगेन यू हैव रिव्यूड इट एंड देन यू हैव प्लेस द ऑर्डर, मटेरियल आया, अगेन इसका स्टॉक जो है वो यहाँ पे चला गया. सो लाइकवाइज इट इज मूविंग अहेड. सो यहाँ पे हमारा रीऑर्डर लेवल नहीं है, हमारा टाइम है कि हम एक टाइम पे, फिक्स टाइम है, वो टाइम इंटरवल पे हम रिव्यू करते हैं, जितना स्टॉक खलास हुआ है, खाली हुआ है, उसको हम फिर से भर देते हैं. सो दैट इज व्हाट इट इज डूइंग. अभी इसको हम थोड़ा सा लेमन टर्म में अगर समझे, ये क्यू सिस्टम एंड पी सिस्टम, तो हम सब लोग कार यूज करते हैं या बाइक यूज करते हैं, तो उस टाइम पे हमारे कार में जो डीजल या पेट्रोल है, या फिर हमारे बाइक में जो पेट्रोल है, उसमें जैसे जैसे कंज्यूम करते जाते हैं तो रिजर्व में आता है. ठीक है. सो दैट रिजर्व पॉइंट इज नथिंग बट योर रीऑर्डर लेवल, जो ये क्यू सिस्टम का फंडा है. ओके, दिस इज रीऑर्डर लेवल, यानी आपकी जो बाइक है वो रिजर्व में आई, आप पेट्रोल पंप पे गए और आपने टंकी जो है उसको फुल करवा लिया. सो दैट इज द फिक्स्ड ऑर्डर एवरी टाइम यू आर फॉलोइंग, कि जब भी ये यहाँ पे जाएंगे, रिजर्व के नीचे जाएगा तो हम फुल करवा लेंगे. ओके, सो दैट इज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. रीऑर्डर लेवल का ट्रिगर है वो यूज कर रहे हैं. सो बेस्ड ऑन द रीऑर्डर ट्रिगर वी आर लेट्स से प्लेसिंग एन ऑर्डर. ओके, और दूसरा ये पी सिस्टम में उसी एग्जांपल को समझे, तो लेट्स से मैंने डिसाइड किया है कि भाई एवरी 15 डेज मैं पेट्रोल पंप पे जाऊंगा, और कितना भी खाली हुआ हो तो उनको बोलूंगा कि इसको फुल कर दो. अभी वो थोड़ा सा खाली हुआ होगा तो भी 15 दिन में जाके फुल करवा लूंगा, बहुत ज्यादा खाली हो गया तो भी 15 दिन में जाके टंकी फुल करवा लेने की, जितना कंज्यूम हुआ हो उसके हिसाब से. तो उस टाइम पे क्वांटिटी फिक्स नहीं रहती, आपके 15 दिन जो है वो फिक्स रहते हैं. ओके, सो दैट इज द पी सिस्टम इन लेमन लैंग्वेज. अभी ये दोनों के कुछ प्रोज एंड कॉन्स है, कि कौन सा अच्छा है, कौन सा किसी का लिमिटेशन है. ठीक है, तो लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. क्यू मॉडल में क्या होता है कि क्वांटिटी इज सेम व्हेन वी ऑर्डर इट, यहाँ पे क्वांटिटी वेरी करती है. क्यू मॉडल में ऑर्डर प्लेस्ड व्हेन इन्वेंटरी पोजीशन ड्रॉप्स टू द रीऑर्डर लेवल, यहाँ पे हमारा रिव्यू पीरियड जब अराइव होता है उस टाइम पे हम ऑर्डर को प्लेस करते हैं. यहाँ पे हर एक विड्रॉल एंड एडिशन, जब भी हम मटेरियल को लेते हैं या उसमें ऐड करते हैं, वी नीड टू कीप अ रिकॉर्ड ऑफ देम, तभी जाके हमें रीऑर्डर लेवल का पता चलेगा कितना है उसके बेस पे. बट हियर इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट, इट इज काउंटेड एवरी, लाइक काउंटेड ओनली एट द रिव्यू पीरियड. यानी कि अगर वीक का डिसाइड किया है या मंथ का डिसाइड किया है तो उस टाइम पे इसका कैलकुलेशन होगा या काउंटिंग होगा, वो हमारा जो इन्वेंट्री है उसका. नाउ हियर साइज ऑफ द इन्वेंट्री इज लेस कंपेयर टू द पी मॉडल. यहाँ पे क्यू मॉडल में क्या होगा कि कंपेयर टू दिस मॉडल ओवरऑल इन्वेंट्री विल बी लेस, सो ऑब्वियसली कैरिंग कॉस्ट एंड दोस कॉस्ट विल बी लेस. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या है कि रीऑर्डर लेवल के बेस पे हम लोग ऑर्डरिंग कर रहे हैं. यहाँ पे हम लोग मतलब बेस्ड ऑन द पीरियड, यहाँ पे डिमांड है वो ध्यान में आता है. लाइक जैसे जैसे कंज्यूम होगा रीऑर्डर लेवल पे कैसे पहुंचेगा, इट विल बी डिपेंड अपॉन द डिमांड ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. यहाँ पे डिमांड का कोई लेना देना नहीं है, टाइम का लेना देना है. 15 दिन हुए, डिमांड है नहीं है, आप जाके फुल करवा लो. ठीक है, सो इन दैट केस इट मे बी ओवरऑल इन्वेंट्री वुड बी हाई. यहाँ पे एक डिसएडवांटेज क्या है कि इसमें टाइम टू मेंटेन इज रिक्वायर्ड हाई ड्यू टू रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हर एक प्लस माइनस इसका रिकॉर्ड रखना पड़ता है, तो उसमें आपका टाइम जो है वो ज्यादा चला जाएगा टू मेंटेन दिस सिस्टम. बट हियर इट इज कंपेरेटिवली लेस टाइम विच इज रिक्वायर्ड. yes, this is very important. Like Q model is very much suitable for critical and high priced item. उसके लिए हम P model में नहीं जा सकते कि every 15 days मंगवा लो. No, that is suitable for low price item or cheaper item. Here it is for the critical or the high price item. Now, other than this, there are also several inventory management technique, and one of the best technique I have seen is the kitchen. So if I ask you, like everyone who is listening to me, ऐसा कितनी बार हुआ है कि घर में आटा खत्म हो गया है और आपको रोटी ना मिली हो? हार्डली लाइक मैं अगर 100 लोगों को पूछूंगा तो हार्डली वन पर्सन वुड बी देयर कि जिनका ऐसा हुआ होगा कि आटा खत्म, या गैस का बोतल खत्म हो गया है, खाना नहीं बना, समझ सकते, बट आटा खत्म हो गया हो या फिर ऐसा कोई लेट्स से मटेरियल जो है वो खत्म हो गया है और आपको खाना ना मिला हो. इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी हैपन. ओके, और उसमें इतना इन्वेंट्री कैरिंग कॉस्ट भी नहीं है. बट सिंस our wife, mother, sister, they are managing this inventory so well कि कभी भी हमें स्टॉक आउट सिचुएशन का पता ही नहीं चलता है. So usually all these concepts when I take a classes or like पूरा फुल डे ट्रेनिंग होता है तो उसमें आई यूज टू टेक ऑल दीज एग्जांपल्स कि ये सारी चीजें हम हमारी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में करते हैं, but we are not knowing the name of it. Even design of experiment, that kind of a complex topic is there, so we try to correlate this with our kitchen or let's say our day to day activity. Even this TPM, total productive maintenance, कि जिसमें हम मशीन है वो विदाउट ब्रेकडाउन चलना चाहिए, इसमें भी हमारे घर का ही एग्जांपल अगर ले तो किचन में इतना ऐसा कितनी बार हुआ है कि हमारा जो गैस स्टव है वो खराब हुआ जिसकी वजह से आपको खाना ना मिला हो? नो, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन बिकॉज दे आर मेंटेनिंग द इक्विपमेंट सो वेल कि ऐसा नौबत ही नहीं आता है कि वो खराब हो गया और सडनली आपको मतलब खाना बाहर से मंगवाना पड़े. सिमिलरली ये मशीन में भी एप्लीकेबल है जो हम इंडस्ट्री में यूज करते हैं. सो इफ यू रिलेट ऑल दिस अप्रोचेस with your day-to-day life and let's say kitchen hacks, then you will be able to understand these concepts very well, and then you can apply somewhere else. Now all of those this inventory management techniques, there are so many techniques, so let us try to just touch upon them. ABC analysis, that is always better control. So it divides inventory into A, B and C category. So basically जिनका एनुअल कंजम्पशन सबसे ज्यादा हो, सबसे ज्यादा यानी 10%, 20% एंड 70% इस तरीके से लाइक रेशियोज लिए जाते हैं. सो इट डिपेंड्स, कंपनी अलग अलग ले सकते हैं, बट दैट इज हाउ इट इज टेकन. लाइक 10% जो आइटम विच इज हैविंग द हाईएस्ट कंजम्पशन, दैट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी A category of item, and accordingly its stock level and their everything is decided. Then this HML classification, that is high, medium and low classification, that categorized based on the unit value. यहाँ पे क्या था? Annual consumption था, यहाँ पे unit value है instead of this annual consumption. तो उस हिसाब से यहाँ पे organize होता है. That is another logic that some companies are using. VED classification, that is vital, essential and desirable. So it is mainly used for the spare part, कि spare part में ऐसे कौन से spare part है जो vital use होते हैं, यानी बहुत ज्यादा use होते हैं. Then essential and then desirable, यानी हो उसका मतलब इतना मायने नहीं रखता है, ऐसे पार्ट कैसे है जो desirable है, यानी कि C categories of item we can say. Then SDE, now that is based on the scarcity of supply, ये classification किया जाता है. S means what? Scarce item, यानी imported item है, उसको S कैटेगरी में डाला जाता है, या फिर हाई वैल्यूड आइटम हम बोल सकते हैं. Then D, that is difficult to get, and it is not imported but difficult to get from the local market also, so that is D. And E, that stands for easy to acquire, यानी easily आपको मिल सकता है, तो उसके लिए इतना ज्यादा स्टॉक रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Then FSN analysis, so that is fast moving, slow moving and non moving based on the pattern of like issue from the store, and it is useful in controlling the obsolescence, यानी जो like काफी सारी मटेरियल obsolete हो जाती है, so in that case it is going to helpful. Then XYZ analysis based on the value of material, and ये काफी similar है ABC analysis से. ABC और XYZ दोनों almost similar है. Difference is only that कि actual inventory value of item lying in the store यहाँ पे consider होता है XYZ में, और ABC analysis में हम एनुअल कंजम्पशन की बात करते हैं. यहाँ पे एक्चुअल जो इन्वेंट्री स्टोर में पड़ा है उसके वैल्यू के बेस पे हम बात करते हैं. देन गोल्फ एनालिसिस. देन गोल्फ में क्या है? G for government, so metal and minerals, that kind of items are there. For that you need to depend upon the government policies. You can't stock after certain levels, so that is G level or G category of item. Then O, that is open market, easily available, right? So O stands for open market and which is easily available. Then L stands for local, it is available from the local supplier also. And F means it can be like not easily available, and that you have to get it from the foreign supplier. Then EOQ method, it is very popular method and also very effective, but although yes, they are having some limitations also if you go into the detail of it. Then this EOQ is based on the like cost, total cost we can say. which comprises of ordering cost and carrying cost. ये तीनों पॉइंट जब मिनिमम हो उस टाइम पे जनरली ये EOQ मेथड का जो है वो ऑर्डरिंग पॉइंट क्रिएट किया जाता है. सो इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी, कितना ऑर्डर कब करना चाहिए, बेस्ड ऑन दैट इट इज डिसाइडेड. And very easy technique, that is two bin system. So order is placed when one bin inventory is used. Generally ये जो है ना वो सी कैटेगरीज ऑफ आइटम के लिए यूज होता है. और आपने अगर देखा है तो जो सुपर स्टोर में भी ऐसा होता है कि जनरली दे आर हैविंग सम बीन्स, दे आर पुट लाइक दिस. यहाँ से कंजम्पशन पूरा हो जाता है, they just take this bean and पीछे वाला जो bean है वो आगे आ जाता है. So one bean is consumed at that time, second bean will started using it, and that is usually for the C category of item. इसके लिए और जो high value item है उसके लिए ये two bin system है, that is not advisable. Otherwise you will have too much of investment over there. So these are all the different techniques or the logic that we can give to categorize our item into different categories, depending upon their consumption, their value, their availability, their scarcity, their costing, and so on. So like these are all the techniques which go into the detail. अगर ये गोल्फ एनालिसिस पढ़ना है तो उसके लिए भी बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में जाना पड़ सकता है. So यहाँ पे हमारा जो पर्पस था स्टार्टिंग से कि इट इज ABCD ऑफ इन्वेंट्री मैनेजमेंट, तो हमने जस्ट ABCD यानी उसके बेसिक को जस्ट स्क्रैच किया है. We have not seen any like formulas, or we have not seen any technique in detail, but I have just tried to explain you the what are the things which is available and what could be done. अभी ये इसमें से ही कोई एक एरिया को पकड़ के हम इसको रिसर्च में लेके जा सकते हैं. And these are all the references that I've used. So thank you so much for listening me. Now if you have any questions or the query, then I would like to answer. मैं ट्राई करूंगा आपकी क्वेरी को सॉल्व करने का.
Okay, Hiren sir. I would like to request to all the participants, if you have any question regarding the presentation, so please ask. I think, sir, we don't have any questions. Thank you for your presentations. This is really very nice 1 hour lecture. It's really very nice to hear you, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And as I have promised you, I have pasted a link to download this material in the chat box. तो आप सब लोग ये material जो मैंने use किया है presentation वो आप download कर सकते हैं.
Okay, sir. Okay, definitely we'll do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.